hypothetically focused person in the world, they would do literally only one thing. They wouldn't eat, they wouldn't sleep, they wouldn't shower, they would only do one thing. And so if your question is, I'm doing more than one thing, how do I do one thing? Just stop doing everything that's not the thing. That's how you focus. And then you're like, well, I can't do it. It's like, of course you can. If you were in a white room that had no door and the only thing you had in front of you was the work would become the most important and interesting thing in the room. And I think this is wildly misunderstood. If you have nothing else to do, work becomes more interesting than boredom. The problem is that you have alternatives for your attention that have shorter and faster feedback loops. And so the reason that I'm so militant about removing all of the attention sucks in my environment is because I want work to be the only thing that takes me out of boredom. And so it's not about discipline, it's about arranging your environment so that the only natural thing you can do by being lazy and not being bored is work. And that is why I believe it doesn't require a tremendous amount of willpower. You live in a black box staring at a wall? Amazing, Joaquin. I love this for you. Okay. I'm 21 years old. I served in the Army. I had a tough life. Okay. I never gave up on something I wanted. I want to succeed in business, but I'm solo and it feels like too much. Why does that feel like too much, man? You don't even have employees. It's way easier. You just got you to manage. Army's harder. One of my guys is in the Army. He said Army's way harder. Dude, literally just, again, go to somebody, do the thing that they don't want to do. Like many of you can start what I call nuisance businesses. Like a lot of people try to, I think this is one of the big mistakes, is thinking that you need to somehow invent some new category and become the next Facebook. 99% of people who make money look at the market, see businesses that already exist there, and say, I think I could do that too. And believe it or not, you don't actually have to try that hard to beat business owners because many of them are lazy and they have employees underneath them who aren't very well trained because they never trained them very well. I talked about one earlier today, right? And so you don't have to beat the business owner. You have to beat the unmotivated employee or account rep at 123 Acme Co. to win. And the pitch you just say is, hey, I'm starting out. And so for the same price as that guy, you actually get the owner and you've got my cell phone and you can call me whenever you want and you can harass me. And I'm going to do everything I possibly can because I want to get your testimonial, I want to get a referral. And this is how I'm starting my business. And guess what? People will take a shot on you because you're right. As long as you don't suck, you will be better than the person who's been barely trained. You always have an advantage. And when you start out, there will always be a room for the small player because you will always try harder than somebody who doesn't have the incentive of the owner. And so the only reason that you are succeeding right now is because of deficiency of skills, period. Not because business is hard, it's just because it has more steps. That's it. Okay, I mean, let's be real. Tying your shoes was hard when you were 4. You just didn't know how to do it yet. It's not hard now because you know how to do it. So everything you don't know how to do feels hard until you learn how to do it. How do you learn how to do it? You try, and you get feedback loops, and then you find out why you suck. And then you suck less because you keep doing it and you get feedback. And then you're actually good, and then you make money. Okay, Alex, the Middle East markets have zero competition. Amazing. You told an agency to switch to the US even though there's some clinics in the Gulf. Yeah, I remember that. Why switch? Honestly, there was context for that one. I can't remember. There was a reason. I think it was a weird one. It was a very weird agency. I can't remember what it was, but it was something. Hey, Alex, how do I learn to be articulate and charismatic? Thanks, man. I often stumble over my words and freeze up in conversation. Cold calling is very daunting to me. All right, let's be real. Hold on. This will be good. This will be worth it. This will be fun. This will be fun. This will be good. All right, hold on. All right, ready for this? You guys ready? Okay. Let's see if you guys can hear this. Let's see if my Wi-Fi actually works.
Hey ladies, welcome back to the second video. So I just wanted to cover what we're going over today. First thing, just to recap the last time, cellulite on your back. On the back of your arms and on your stomach is caused from excess toxins in your body when you have a surplus of calories. All right, so those are the things that we need to deal with. So today, we're going to be covering blood flow. Now, you tend to not be able to get rid of the fat on your backs, the back of your arms.
Are you fucking kidding me? Of course you're going to suck. You practice, you do it again. You do it again. That was a piece of content that I made 16 years ago or whatever it was at my gym. Then I was explaining how fat calories worked or whatever I was saying, right?
And does that sound like banger content to you? Probably not. Did I sound charismatic there? Probably not. Did I sound articulate? Certainly not. Right? It's like you just got to try, you got to start. And like think about this, like I have a lot of reps here. So I'll tell you a story that might make sense for you. I have been making ads, and I'm talking like 50 ads or more per week. Myself, not my companies, me, for 14 years. So 50 ads a week is 2,500 ads a year times 14 years. I've made 25,000, 30,000 ads. And so we were like, man, and my team knows this. It's like, man, just put the camera on, just tell like Alex what the hook or the angle is, and then he'll just go. It's like, right, when you do something 30,000 times, you get decent at it. And so this is like, I get attacked publicly for saying this stuff, but like, you have to do a lot more than you think you do. And you have to do it for a lot longer than you think you're going to have to do it for. And you're going to get paid way less than you think you're going to get paid for a much longer period of time than you expect. And it is still worth it. It just takes a while. And it's because like you're just not that good yet. And there's a reason that income goes like this, right? For a very long time. And you keep getting better and better and better, but your income still barely moves. And it's because it's at the very ends is where you get all the returns, right? A lot of markets are winner take all. And so in order to be the winner who takes all, and I'm not saying I'm that guy, but I'm saying in order to at least start getting up this curve, you got to be better than a lot of people. But this is the good news. 90% of people don't even start. And I think the podcast metric is one of the most famous ones cited for this, but I think it's so important. Many people want a podcast. Almost no one starts. Of the people who start, 90% do not make it past the 20th episode. 20. I said I just did 30,000 ads. Let me give you an idea to like think about this for a second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. See how boring that is? Now count to 30,000. And that is still not as long as I've actually made ads because ads take longer than the time it takes to say a number. That is how many ads I've done. And so like you have to practice to get better and you have to do a lot of reps to practice. So I don't know how to do this faster. All right, I'm off my rant there. What is the most efficient way to scale a service-based business? It's actually a very odd question because I'm guessing you mean fastest. Because the most efficient way would be to not have a service business. How do I have my revenue per headcount be the highest? Have no headcount. Have a lot of automation. How would I buy equity into my dad's business if I don't have money? Okay, that's a great question. What AI agents do you use for ACQ? We use a blend of different LLMs, but then we have all of our proprietary data on top, which we spent 50,000 hours of consulting hours to train it on, which is kind of like the long-term model for why that's valuable. But the question of like, how do I buy the business from my dad? You will earn it by working for him. And there's 2 ways you can kind of pay for it. Actually, there's a lot of ways, but I'll give you a couple. So number 1 is that you can say, hey, what would you pay this role or these 2 roles or these 3 roles? Because hopefully you should work harder than 1 or 2 or 3 people in your dad's business. You can take that amount of money and say, don't pay me at all, credit it towards buying the business. Thing 1. Thing 2, if you buy a business, there's also some element of seller financing that typically occurs. So let's say that the business makes $1 million a year and he agrees to the company being worth $3 million. I'm making it up, okay? $3 million is what the company's worth. You say, okay, can I finance half of that, so $1.5 million, over 5 years? Okay, that means you have to pay $300,000 a year, but the company makes $1 million. And so that means, okay, you now have $700,000 left over. Okay, great. So now we took over 1.5, and maybe in that time period you have the salary that you're also chipping away at it for. And then this is where small business loans and things like that come in handy. And small business loan would be senior debt. Your dad's seller financing debt would be second to it. And so they're willing to do that. And so you then get him paid, and then you use the business to fund the rest as long as you don't suck, and you'll be fine. That would be a way to do it. Okay.
Bam the Spanner Cornball. Appreciate it. What do you think of studying 12 hours a day for 6 days a week? Fine. Good question. Um, is learning ads for local service businesses still good? 15K a month to learn in 2026? Yeah, there's a lot of brick and mortar businesses that need customers. Like a lot. Like you could create, like today, you could create a multi-billion dollar company if you just were better at helping brick and mortar companies get ads that or get leads and customers than anyone else. For sure. You just have to be good and you have to know how to scale. How do you balance between using AI? Oh, missed it. All right. Uh, let's see one. Okay, Alex, I run a roofing company. I do door-to-door for all my revenue. How do I scale my team without running paid ads? Door-to-door turnover is insane. It's a feature, not a bug, man. It's a feature, not a bug. You're going to have to create career